In the previous part, we just finished talking about you, how you joined the JYG, how the things got started, you playing for all the other bands as well, and then you opened in the Desert Rock Festival. So
Yeah.
after that, we had a post in around 2010 or 11, where it was
Yeah.
like the members are leaving the group, and now they'll be replaced. And if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong, Amit like arranged all the replacements within a day or so, right? A few hours.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Pretty quick.
yeah, I'm gonna share the story like how being like opening for Iron Maiden and Megadeth, it comes all the way down to like leaving the band.
Well, it's basically like this, man. Like, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you've opened for big artists and stuff like that. Like, you could be in a marriage for like 15 years and still be unhappy,
Right.
so this was most definitely like a marriage between guys. Like, we were in the synergy which we created, and we loved playing with each, like, in the same band, and loved going to gigs and doing big stuff, but kind of got to a point where I think we just grew far apart. We just really just went our ways, and it just, yeah, everyone was just doing other stuff, because I personally think that when we were signed to the label, we were signed to this label in Dubai, who were technically from LA, but they had an office in Dubai, and they were called Creative Kingdom. And we got signed to them, and there were these big, plans and stuff like that. They were just sharing with us on emails and sending us posts and stuff like that, We took a trip to Dubai to meet them, and for a week, and then went back home, came back to Chennai, and then we went back to Dubai. So when we got dropped from the label, because the label said that they were shutting down and they couldn't handle anything anymore, I think that's when, all of the big hype just kind of went sideways.
Okay.
And then I was doing other stuff at the same time. I was always, performing with other artists, and as I mentioned before, I did a lot of that stuff. And then Sidhu was doing the same thing, and Craig was, he was becoming a family man, and forever, evergreen.
The one thing I wanted to ask about this, letting Craig, you've talked about him being the hardest worker in the room. Sid has talked about him being like one of the hardest guys, like working guys, because he was there in the call center, and then he was coming and playing with the band for like 10 hours or something. Do you think, and also, I don't know this, like he's a freelance writer right now in Australia. I'm not sure if he's related to music, like is he playing or not, or is he like doing something with music? But the guy who was working the hardest is the one that I think is the most attached to the music right now out of the four of you. Do you think
most attached?
Yeah, because his primary job right now is freelance writing. I'm not sure if he's performing or not in Australia. I don't have any updates regarding that.
I think he has a band. I think he has a band that he's playing. I think he's playing in. He has a band there, because I saw a post from him I don't know if it was a few months ago. I saw a post from him saying that they were looking for, I don't know if it was a bass player or something like that. I think they were looking for someone. He was looking for somebody. No, not a bass player. Drummers, I think, potential drummers. I'm not really sure. He posted something like that, and then I kind of followed, and I've been seeing, and then just a few weeks ago, I think, or a month or two ago, he posted 10 years, boys. Like, it was a reminder on Facebook. And it was Sidhu, myself, and Craig standing and singing a song at this place in Chennai. It was 10-year-old memory, and he was like 10 years. So he just kind of shared a memory, right? So, yeah, I mean, man, if you think about it like that, if you feel like he's detached from the music, I don't think he's ever detached from it. I think it's more like, he's got a family, he's got kids, and now he's got. There's a. I just saw that there was a newer one. There's another guy in the picture, another baby. So I was just like, okay, you know what? Unfortunately, man, the music business everywhere is like this. You can't really rely on it because it's a really uncertain field, and people who have executive ideas and executive minds, like they're financial planners, and they have to market an entire thing to feed this mass agenda, and release like crappier music. So it's kind of hard for people to stick to music. Even when I'm doing, I struggle like for. It's no better now. I mean, it's a little better now, but the struggle's real, man. It stays. It's once it's there, it's gonna be there till you finally break through, right? So it's just about making that name, and it's about that. And struggles are not just financially. It can be physical, mental. Like there's so much. Being a musician and an artist who's completely dedicated to performing and being a musician can put you through a fucking shitstorm of emotions. Craig's approach to this is probably one steady, and he also wants to have this dual, life where he's actually playing, and he wants to keep. But everybody's got their own journey. So, as long as he's still playing, and as long as he's not like, I don't want to see him in like 10 years from now, with a big ass fucking beer belly, and he's completely given up on music. He's completely given up on everything. No, I don't think I'll ever see him like that. He's been one of the guys respected the most in the band. And he's been one of those guys who's always had his head on his shoulders. Like he's fucking legit. He's, what do you say? He's a dude, man. Craig's the fucking dude, man. He's the fucking dude. No one like him. And it's funny because my business partner now, his name is Craig, and he's from Australia. And I'm not even joking. If you put Maxworth and Norman, it's Craig Maxworth and Craig Norman, like, if you put these two guys together, man, it looks like a really good fucking doppelganger.
What if?
He's the same personality too. How the fuck does that happen? The same personality. Every time I look at Craig, I'm like, shit, man, you got to meet the other Craig. Holy shit. You guys are like the same. Craig's not left my life just as yet. He's still around. It's just in a different form though.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like I said, I think that's what it comes down to. It just comes down to. It is what it is, man. Like, the music business. Yeah, I can go on and on about that, but
Yeah.
So, talking about journey and struggles that you are saying, what happened like when the band was dissolved and you went your own way? So how things changed for you after that? What do you start?
After Junkyard Grove?
Yes, after Junkyard Grove.
I can honestly say after Junkyard Grove, and I'm not really shy to say it, and I think it should be spoken about. Like, I kind of went. I went kind of downhill, man. After Junkyard Grove, and then a lot of my personal stuff was not going the right way, and everything just went. It wasn't a good place to be, and I was discovering myself, and I had lots of like anxiety issues and depression, and didn't want to see any of my friends. And I had there's a common friend of the band who lives in Dubai. His name is Vikram. So yeah, it was kind of hard. I moved to Dubai because nothing was happening for me in Chennai, and then my mom kind of blackmailed me. She was just like, okay, you've been gone for 7 years. And if you don't come back, I'm never going to talk to you again. So I was like, shit, gotta go. So I ran up to my mom to see her, and then she kind of forced me into staying back, where I was raised. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then I tried, and I was thinking that, my entire music career, like my entirety of music was just done. I was looking for jobs, to do. It's like something to do because Dubai, you have to kind of have a job to stay, unless you have your own company and stuff. So I was still like, you know, in between places in my life. So I went, a friend of mine who studied with me in school hooked me up with this gig, like with this job, which is being the drums and percussion specialist for pearl drums in Dubai and Sabian cymbals. So I was testing drums and doing that kind of stuff, you know, artistic, but still regimented corporate. Got sick of it. Yeah. Word. Yeah, and like I'm a corporate artist. You know, it's such a fucking. It was a paradox in my life, and then I completely thought that I moved to like fucking hell. Like, you know, there's no music scene, there's nothing here. I was completely wrong. There was a huge underground music scene, which was so awesome. Yeah, man, I was so drawn to it. I just got introduced to so many people, and I started hanging out with these dudes, and they were just taking me to gigs, and I was like, what? And none of this is out in the world. Like, nobody knows about this, right? And then I go to this one place called the Music Room. It is by far one of the most glorious stages I've seen inside. It's such a cool fucking stage, and I'm so happy and honored that I played there like 3 years I was there. I played so many gigs there, like so many bands I played with. And one time in that place, there was a band, and that's how I met one of my really, really good friends for life. Her name's Layla Kojaste. She's Iranian, Australian. And I sang with her. She's an amazing singer and very, very beautiful. She and I met at this concert where she asked her guitar player and herself walked up to me after watching me play with another band and asked me, hey, our drummer just kind of bailed on us. Would you play with us? And I was just like, but I don't know any of her songs. And the bass player was like, you look like the kind of guy who would just pick it up. And I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. So I went up on stage. That was my first introduction into the Dubai music scene. Because the first band I played with, I didn't really like their music, man. They were just doing all 2/4 shuffles, you know? Everything was a blues or a 2/4 shuffle. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, come on. What, 10 songs, all 10 with the same beat? That's bullshit. But then I played with them, caught on, and then they announced that it was me who's never played with the band, blah, it just went up. And then I got called to play with so many bands. I was playing with like 11 bands at the time, 11 artists.
Same time.
And at the same time, and I was doing fucking corporate artistry at the same time, you know. So I was doing that too. So it just went really, it just went from zero to hero in no time. I was playing with so many people. I had to give away work. I was just like, I'm sorry, I can't. My schedule is booked, and like I'm backed up all the way to December 2014. And then I started traveling with these bands, and that was a great experience. I started seeing a lot more stuff. Doing like really, really strange gigs in St. Petersburg, which was just like weird, but you know, it is what it is. And then it started to get better, man. Then everything started picking up, and then I started playing with Dubai's like one of the Middle East's biggest bands. Like, no, they were the biggest. They were called Juliana Down, and they were signed by Audi and stuff like that. Yeah, man, the story is getting too long. Basically, it was Dubai that really kicked off, and then I came to Norway, and then I was on The Voice, blah blah blah. But it's a journey, you know. It's start somewhere, end somewhere. We figure it out.
So since Dubai's story is so amazing, you were doing such a great thing. Then how come you shifted to Norway? Like, what brings you to Norway?
Well, because I was in Dubai, but also the thing was, you know, I understood that being underground was not always the thing.
Okay.
Like, I loved the scene. I loved everything about it. I loved all the guys I worked with, and fucking amazing musicians and great singers. And wow, if my friend Hamdan ever listens to this, man, big ups to you, bro. If he's ever gonna listen to this podcast, fuck, man, what a genius of a singer, Hamdan Al Abri. But there were so many. Yeah, I kind of got stale. Kind of got to that
Okay.
place where I was like, no, I don't want to stay. I don't want to remain underground. You know what I'm saying? No, I wanted to really like power through and go somewhere. Because in Dubai, the artists were not. They would. There was no international reach. I somehow needed my music to be heard everywhere. Somehow, I'm still in
Yeah.
pursuit. I'm still in pursuit, but I somehow needed my music to travel further, and Dubai was not giving me that option. So
Dubai was all the underground scene, and you wanted to go for a mainstream so that you can
not
play
exactly
everywhere.
mainstream, not exactly mainstream. I think I wanted to go to a place where music was given importance, like it's a part of
Yeah.
society. Like I mean, even in India, it is a part of society. There's kacheris and stuff. In the south, there's a lot
True.
of but that's kind of become like nationalized. You know what I'm saying? They're not diverse there,
Yeah.
and that was the
Yeah.
problem in Dubai, and that is also the problem in India because this,
True.
if people write like Junkyard Grove music, you guys are like, a part of the pack. You know, the pack is
True.
mainstream. They create that pack, so it's like watching a fucking really shitty teen movie. You know how they form clans? It's
True.
like that. Like the good-looking dudes and great singers and blah blah blah. Commercial, not the good-looking dudes. I mean, there's great-looking women too, but they've just formed a pack, and if you're not a part of that pack, you're just not invited here. Welcome here. So you
Point.
got to create your own thing. But when I came to Norway, there was no like it was diverse, man. It was accepted. It was a unified thing, you know.
True.
So all kinds of music can live here. All kinds of stuff can happen, and I enjoyed that. But of course, again, not saying that it's awesome, but there is a definite, uh, pack formation in the pop industry. They always do that. They
Yeah.
just one united thing, and I can't listen to any more songs about people who write love songs just because it's a love song they have to write, and there's no feeling,
Yeah.
nothing put behind it. It's just a song, and every other song is about going to clubs and partying with my friends and letting my hair loose. And man, I can't listen to that garbage anymore, dude. I'm so sick of it.
So
So
see,
yeah,
I
that's
think
why I'm here in Norway.
I think we'll both agree with you that the lyrics, the basic lyrics that we had earlier on to what we have now is has gone down so bad that it's unbearable. Even if somebody makes
Man,
good music,
18
you can't listen
songwriters,
to it.
18 songwriters for one song. Can you please explain the
True.
logic in that? 18 songwriters.
Oh,
I'm just like,
they all
why? One guy is that the
I
artist
think
is stupid? Is that
see,
why you
I
have
think
18
what they
other
do
people
is
helping?
I think they write like 80 to 36 lines. Everybody writes a line or two. They all put it in a bowl. They pick it up and then they rearrange it as soon as they get it. So okay, line number one. Okay, line number two. You got this. I mean, it's terrible. At a point, you had people who were so well read to have been writing music, and and the thing is that whenever they were writing music, they were actually picking up words that were not in use. So you had if we talk about the Hindi music industry that we had before, we had Gulzar writing them, like he still writes, but not as prolifically as he used to. That guy used to read, that guy used to draw inspiration from so many places, and now we have people, like you just mentioned, like 18 people writing one song, and that's just crap. That's just plain crap. You can't listen to it.
No, man, it's just all these this. I don't know if you saw my post a couple of days ago. Like I posted a picture
Yeah,
of Stephen Lukather. Like he
I
said
I
that
saw.
yeah, it was a picture of Stephen Lukather. You can block it off or put a smiley. Like he stands like that, and he just tells people like everything that is there now is software and driven, machine driven music that lacks soul, which is something that I
True.
truly agree. And I think there is a definite movement that we are not aware of, and somehow I really want to start that movement. Like I want to spearhead it, like and tell people, like, hey man, screw those guys. Let's form this together and just create something where we have a competitive, like a competitive industry. You know, it becomes a competitive industry where it's like, you know what, competition is healthy. You think your music is going to sell? Fine, you guys form that pack. We form our pack. And we create something on this side. And you know what? Let's compete. Let's see, man. You make your money, I make my money. It's no bad blood, but let this music survive too. Give this music also the light and the limelight, like how you give this garbage, like you know. And then you tell people that this is popular, and you give them this false, you know, false pretense that, you know, people start thinking that, oh, you're a musician, so how do you make your money? And I was just like, you stop thinking about that. Don't ask me how I make my money. Okay? I'm smart. I'll figure my ways out. I'm not selling drugs or anything, but, you know, I'm smart. I'll get it. But, you know, they have that mentality when you talk to them. You see, so, yeah, man, like I'm not 100% there. I believe there's so much talent that's behind the scenes. And even in India, like, man, guys like Sidhu on the guitar, mother. That guy
I thought I mentioned this to Sid. I forgot to mention it. The one song that I particularly liked about the Junkyard Grove was
about me? What did that fucker say about me?
Oh,
you tell me that. You told me that first. What did he say about me?
It's going to be out on the episode soon. I mean, it's going to be out on the episode soon. But he had all.
You don't want to tell me.
You know, he said all the nice things about you.